everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive? We've got some seriously cool AI news to unpack today, especially if you're following all things Nvidia. We're talking NVLM 1.0, and let me tell you, this isn't just another AI model. This thing is next level.
It's a game changer.
It really is. We're talking about an AI that can process language like you wouldn't believe, but then also, get this, can actually understand images too. And hold on, because it gets even wilder. NVIDIA is making it open source.
Yeah, they basically just dropped the keys to the kingdom and said, go wild.
Exactly. So where do we even begin with something like this? Let's start with what makes NVLM 1.0 so different. The key here is that it's multimodal.
Which, in plain English, means
It means imagine an AI that doesn't just read text, right? It understands images on a whole other level. Like, it gets the humor in a meme, the story a photograph is trying to tell.
even the meaning behind an emoji, which, let's be real, sometimes even we struggle with that.
That's true. But think about the implications for a second. We're talking about an AI that can look at a picture with, like, text overlaid on it and tell you exactly what those words say.
Optical character recognition, OCR, but cranked up to 11.
Right. But it doesn't stop there. This AI can describe images with insane accuracy, even nailing those, like, subtle details that make you laugh.
It's like Nvidia took a giant leap toward teaching a machine to see the world the way we do.
It's mind-blowing.
And it's not just about making AI seem more human, although, I mean, that's definitely a big part of it.
Sure.
This has massive, and I mean massive, implications for things like, say, robotics.
Oh, right. Because a robot needs to be able to process its environment, not just, like, bump around blindly.
Exactly. Instead of relying solely on sensors, robots could use this to actually see their surroundings and react accordingly.
Way more adaptable.
Think about the possibilities in customer service. Imagine an AI that can analyze a photo of, say, a damaged product and understand the problem instantly.
Wow.
We're talking about unlocking a whole new level of AI capability, going way beyond the limitations of text-based data. NVIDIA is bridging the gap between the digital world and, the visual world we experience.
It really is incredible. But then there's this whole other layer to this, right? Because NVIDIA didn't just create this crazy, powerful AI.
Yeah.
They decided to make it open source.
Which no one saw coming.
I mean, are we serious right now? They're essentially giving away the recipe, the secret sauce,
A full shebang.
Yeah. Now, to understand how revolutionary this is, think about those other AI players, like GPT-4, for example. Those are locked down tight, hidden away.
It's really an unprecedented move in the world of cutting-edge AI. Proprietary algorithms are the name of the game, but NVIDIA is inviting everyone to come and tinker, improve it, explore its potential.
It's like they said, here's the AI, have fun.
It's a giant leap towards democratizing access to AI.
So what's the catch? Why give away what could be, like, the most valuable tech of the decade?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? This open-source decision has everyone speculating. On one hand, this could be an absolute game-changer for smaller companies, universities, research groups, anyone who doesn't have the massive resources of a tech giant.
Right, like Google or Microsoft.
Exactly. It's like leveling the playing field, opening up a world of possibilities for so many people.
It's like NVIDIA just hit the fast-forward button on AI innovation. Who knows what brilliant minds will come up with now that they have access to these tools? But there has to be another side to this. What's the potential downside? It's like giving everyone a super fast car is great, but someone's going to try and drive it blindfolded, right?
Right. We need some serious safety measures here.
Yeah.
We're talking about incredibly powerful AI. What happens if it doesn't behave the way we expect?
So we've established that giving everyone access to NVLM is, well, kind of a big deal.
To say the least.
But let's dig into the how. How does something like this even work? I mean, we keep saying multimodal, but what's going on under the hood?
Okay, so imagine feeding NVLM a massive cookbook.
Okay, I'm with you.
But not just the recipes, right? You also give it detailed instructions on, like, all the baking techniques. That's kind of what supervised fine-tuning does. It helps NVLM go beyond simply recognizing ingredients and actually understand how they all work together.
To make a delicious dish, or, in this case, solve complex logic problems.
Exactly. It's like giving the AI a crash course in specific subjects. Instead of just being a jack of all trades, it's got these specialized skills.
Makes it an expert in certain areas.
Precisely. It's like comparing a general practitioner to, say, a brain surgeon.
Both good, but one's for when you need very specific skills.
Right. NVLM is our AI brain surgeon, able to tackle those tricky logical problems, complex code, all that, with pinpoint accuracy.
Okay, that makes sense. But it's not just about logic and code here, right? I mean, one of the things that's really striking about NVLM is how it seems to understand images on this deeper level. Like, it gets humor.
Absolutely. And that's because of how it connects the visual information with textual context. It doesn't just see a picture of cat, right?
Yeah.
It understands the concept of cat, but also all the associated text it's been trained on, the behaviors that...
The internet's obsession with cats.
Exactly. The whole 9 yards.
So it's like it's learned to speak the language of memes.
You could say that. It gets the joke, even if it's like buried in layers of irony or cultural references. That's something a lot of AI models struggle with, by the way. They might be able to identify the elements, but they miss that underlying humor of the message.
But in VLM, it's like it's learned to, read between the pixels.
Something like that.
Yeah.
It's definitely next level.
Okay, so this is all very impressive. But, and I think we have to address this, we've been focusing a lot on the potential upsides, right? The possibilities.
Sure.
But what about the flip side? The potential downsides? It's like giving everyone a super fast car is exciting and all.
Until someone crashes it.
Right. We need some serious safety measures here. We're talking about incredibly powerful AI. What happens if it doesn't behave the way we expect? So where do we go from here? We've talked about NVLM's capabilities, the fact that it's open source, but what does it all actually mean?
The million-dollar question, right?
Because, yeah, this technology is amazing, but it's not just some, cool gadget. It has real implications.
Absolutely. And it's not a simple answer either.
Right. So let's try to break it down. Let's start optimistic. Paint me a picture of the best-case scenario. What does a future powered by NVLM look like?
Well, imagine a world where things like medical diagnoses are way more accurate, more accessible too, where education is completely personalized, tailored to, your specific learning style.
That would be amazing. I could actually learn things. But what about on a smaller scale, like for the average person just going about their day-to-day?
Think about having an AI assistant that can help you design your dream home, plan a trip, create a presentation for work.
Whoa, hold on. An AI that can make my PowerPoint slides for me. Sign me up. Okay, but seriously, this all sounds great, but we have to talk about the potential downsides too.
Of course. And that's where things get a little more complicated. Because we're talking about incredibly powerful technology here. And anytime you have that, there's always the risk of misuse.
Right, like what if it doesn't behave the way it's supposed to? What if someone uses it for something malicious?
Those are all valid concerns. And it's why we need to have these conversations now.
So that we can, set up some guardrails.
Exactly. We need to establish some ground rules, some ethical guidelines for how this technology is developed and used. And that's not just on the shoulders of, governments and tech companies, by the way.
So what can the average person do? I mean, I'm not a coder. I don't work in AI.
It's not about being an expert. It's about staying informed, asking questions, and making sure our voices are heard. The future of AI isn't predetermined. It's something we're all creating together.
That's a good point. When we started this deep dive, I was mostly just like, wow, AI that understands memes.
Which is still cool.
Oh, absolutely. But this conversation has really opened my eyes to, the bigger picture here.
The incredible possibilities, the very real challenges.
And the responsibility we all share in shaping this new era of technology.
It's a lot to process, and honestly, it's something we'll be figuring out for years to come. But it's definitely an exciting time to be alive.
I have to agree with you there. And on that note, we're going to leave you to ponder all of this. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.